Hey, everybody. Here we are with Elizabeth Evans from EME Innovations. Elizabeth, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. It's great.
This is an important time. Your company is an HR, human resources, and almost like a business operations company.
That's
So
correct.
important to have you on here because this is all about, supporting local business and talking to business owners. And these business owners need to know a bunch of stuff that you know. So hopefully you can share some of that with us today because, as the province opens and our businesses start to reopen, there's a lot of different things that business owners have to consider. Talk
There
to us a
sure
little bit
is.
about that.
Okay, well, thanks for having me today. It's really my pleasure to be able to share the knowledge that I have with anyone who needs it. And so when employers reopen, and I know a lot of employers, particularly the healthcare practitioners, are opening this week, there's a lot to think about for both your customers and your employees. So your employees want to know that you're doing your best to keep them safe, and so do your customers.
Yeah.
And so there's various things like signage and directing people in one door and out another door. And of course, those are all very important. But it's also communication to your employees of what you're doing to keep them safe. And in some cases, it's installing or integrating new procedures into how you take care of your team and how you take care of your customers. For example, most regular businesses don't have a hand washing policy. And it seems a little odd that we'd have to have a hand washing policy, but in today's world, it's really important that we reteach people how to be sure that they've mitigated their risk so they can take care of themselves, not bring anything nasty home to their families or share it with a customer who may come in. So, when you think about a policy, it's actually a procedure or a protocol about how to do things. So if your employee comes in and we're all used to washing our hands really quick for like 5 seconds, and now there's a 20-second thing, or sing the happy birthday song or various other songs, but it's getting in between your fingers. And so we may need to be able to teach our employees how to do that. And we may need to have signs posted for our customers who come in, because they'll use the hand sanitizer, but they'll go like this. They may not get in between their fingers. So it's about teaching people how to do those simplistic things that we think are really simple, but what can we do to mitigate that risk?
Right. Interesting. You sent me a document this morning. Am I able to share this document at some
Sure,
point?
yes. Yep. It's actually on my blog on my website.
Okay, well, I'll just put the link to your website right there, because there's a lot of great information on here. But you also mentioned here, the Ministry of Labor has brought additional inspectors in. So is that something now that most business owners can expect, or are these inspectors coming in to inspect their business?
Yes, I believe it is. So we've in the province of Ontario, we didn't have as many Ministry of Labor inspectors, and most businesses didn't regularly get an inspector come in unless you were in certain categories. So young workers was really important a couple of years ago with the Ministry of Labor. Now this year, with the additional Ministry of Labor inspectors, they'll be checking for your protocols and your processes on keeping your employees safe and your customers safe.
And as we were speaking before we started to record, I've been in a few dialogues where they're saying, look, if you don't treat this with all seriousness as far as keeping your customers safe and the feeling of safety and your employees, you're going to lose customers and you're going to lose employees. So this is where a company like yours comes in, where you can help put these processes in play to make sure that we're following them to keep everybody safe.
That's correct.
Without that, it becomes a big mess, and you'll end up losing good people, right?
And you don't want to do that. Right now, our customer base is so very important. I mean, as we reopen and get back to, our new normal, we want our customers to know that we have their best interests at heart. And it's something that I'm willing to help people. I have protocols, I have checklists, I can walk you through the steps. People, feel free to give me a call. I'm, my gift to you, no charge. The most important thing is to get back to work and get our businesses operating again so our economy can start to grow. And as I mentioned previously, I have been in North Bay my entire life. I love this community.
Yeah.
And so I want to share, I want to help, and I want to bring our economy back to where it needs to be.
That's awesome. It's so important to have these policies in place. And I know, you mentioned, when you call business owners, you're talking to them, you mention policies, they're like, you can almost see their eyes roll.
Yeah.
Because it's just another thing, and all they want to do is just get back at the next job. But it is so important to limit their liability, to ensure that all of these little things that you can offer them are in place. And then you have something you can point to, and it's a procedure, and it just simplifies everything. If everybody knows that the procedures are in this book, here's the book, let's go to the book.
Yeah.
It just simplifies the whole process. So I guess this is what one of the things your company can do is put all these processes in play, and then teach do you actually roll it out at the place of business, or how does that work?
I can do both. I can roll it out, or I can share with the employer or the lead what they need to do. And it's really not that difficult. I don't want to trivialize it. But teaching people how to do things, I could do it virtually. I could go as long as we can physical distance, of course. Yeah. All of those things, I'm happy to do it. Again, I have everything ready to go for anyone who needs it. Just give me a call.
Okay. And the HR process, this isn't just about COVID. It's also about, you've mentioned here, absence reporting processes, dress code, like all of that stuff is covered in this HR manual, if you will.
100%. So,
okay.
It depends on businesses. So many businesses have some great procedures and protocols in place. Many do not. Or, you may have a work from home policy, but it may be a one-off for people. So maybe you have staff members who say, hey, my daycare is not open yet. Can I still work from home? And as an employer, if you're able to do that, then why not? But there's some things to remember with a work from home policy is, what are your hours of work? What about if you need to be absent for, a family item? How do you let your supervisor know that you need to be away for an hour? So, reinvigorating those absence policies and the protocols, and reminding your team of what you have in place. And if they've changed, they may well have changed. If they're the same, and think about dress code, right? How many people are having Zoom meetings with a suit jacket on and their exercise pants on, right? So we've really changed how we dress for work. Yeah. And we may need to refresh people's memories on that, because if you've always, wore a suit to work and then you're 2 months at home wearing exercise pants, putting those suits on again might be a little bit of like, oh, maybe they don't fit. Maybe I've gained a pound or two. Most of us probably has, making too much bread. And so those are all things that you need to remind your team about, and, in a good kind of way. And it's also a really good opportunity to connect with your team. And what have you learned, right? How can we take what we've learned and make our business a little bit better?
That's a good point, for sure. Okay, is there anything else that everybody needs to know? These are business owners we're talking to. I'm going to put your link for your website and to this document in this post. I think is very valuable. I love it that you just want them to reach out to you. Let's get you this information in your hand. Hopefully down the road we'll work together, but for now, let's just get you going, because 100%. You need that information. So is there anything else we need to address here?
If anyone has any questions, whether it's, what to do, or maybe they're having some staffing challenges, for the next little while, I'm very fortunate to be able to share my services as a gift. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And sometimes you may just want to reach out and just vent. It's kind of with my HR degree and my designation, we are mandated by a code of conduct and everything is confidential. So if somebody calls and say, hey, Elizabeth, as I have this team member who's been doing this, this, and this, what can I do about it? I'm happy to walk them through the appropriate steps to do it. The last thing people need right now is more work to do, or more in things that are going to stress them out. So if I can alleviate that stress, I'm happy to do so. Okay. Again, my gift to you.
That's awesome. Okay, what's the best way for them to reach you?
They can either email me or they can call me. And my email is right on my website, which is emeinnovations.ca. And my
Okay.
telephone number is also there on the website as well.
Okay, that's awesome. What an awesome resource that you will be, because I know business owners need to address this. And some of them are struggling because they just don't know. I mean, we've interviewed over 100 business owners, and most of them just don't know what this is all, what's going to happen. So this
Yes.
part of it, the HR part of it, is always the part that everybody wants to kind of sweep under the rug, like it's just HR. But it's
Yes.
a big deal. And they're going to need to deal with it. So thank you so much for coming on.
Right.
I greatly appreciate it. Let's get this message out there in front of business owners, and everything is starting to kind of open up. We're starting to see that. So hopefully it stays that way. Hopefully we keep our distancing.
Yes.
But again, Elizabeth, thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. It's indeed my pleasure.
Okay. Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.